Welcome back! Okay, it's been forever, and I'm going to try to cram it all into one vlog. Not, obviously, our trips from Slovenia, Slovakia, and from Jordan, because those are their own thing. But since our last update on our life here, we have gone to Scotland, and so many other things have happened, so this is going to be a two-parter. So part one is bum ba da na. So welcome to part one. So up until our trip to Scotland, a lot has happened. Let me tell you. First of all, I quit my job. I was getting hit by the students, and I taught too many classes, and I didn't have any support. I didn't feel like I had any support, and so I went in and I talked to Robert, and I talked to some of my teacher friends about it, and I talked to um, my grandmother and my parents, and we talked, and I just decided it wasn't a good fit for me, and that's okay. And so I went and told the principal. At this point, it's been like 4 weeks. 4 weeks ago, and said, this is my 2-week notice. And he just said, okay. No, why? No, I'm so sorry. Is there anything we can do? Like, what can be better? No, just okay. So that was easy. So it was sad to leave my sixth graders and some of my upper level kids. They were the bestest, but it just wasn't a good fit. So here we are, moving on. Right before I quit, though, Robert's grandmother, Becky, passed away. She was the matriarch of the family. She was Bob's wife, if you remember Bob. She was extremely supportive of him, of everyone in her family, and so we went home for that funeral. The service was beautiful. I told the minister afterwards, or preacher, I don't know what they call it in the Episcopal Church. Minister, sure. I told the lady who was in charge of the service, whose name I've now forgotten. She was great, and I told her, I said, can you actually do my funeral? Like, because her eulogy was beautiful. She wove this incredible story that Becky was more than just Bob's wife, and Becky did this, and Becky did, and you learn so much about her, about Becky, and about Becky's family, and her, like, person, like, as a person. I don't know how to describe it. It was really beautiful. It was stunning. And then Dorothy and Rebecca sang, and they did a great job, and Carson and I think Luke read. Like, everyone did an amazing job. It was beautiful. The weather was perfect. It was a perfect fall day. And we did get to go to the Hard Square Festival. I guess it's called something new now. Oh, I don't remember. Maybe not. But like back in time, I don't know. We went to the festival. It was lovely. Also great. Got to wear a costume. Duh. Jeffson was there. He just came out of nowhere, walked into the church while I was working, and boom, Jeffson. And I was like freaking out. I kind of cried. I kind of like shoved a kid out of the way and got to hug on him. Got to see mom and dad. Got to hug on Margaret and Eric. Got to see Rebecca. Got to see Abby. Got to see Mark. Got to see Nate. Got to see everybody, which was good since we're not coming home like for Christmas. It was nice for Robert to get to see his family because he hasn't seen them since. I mean, he came in town for like a day in February when my grandfather passed, when Papa Joe passed. But then, other than that, he was back home at like Christmas. So he wasn't planning on coming to America until next May when Eliza graduates. Yay! But it was good that he got to see his family and hug on everybody, and we got some U.S. time. So that happened, and then I quit my job the like week and a half later, and then I'm trying to think if that was everything. We got to do Halloween, which is exciting. I've made some friend singular. Her name's Massa. She's great. She is the dance teacher at my school. If you want some like funny school stories, obviously pre-quitting, just text me. There's just too many to put in a vlog. So our pre-Scotland time was spent, getting everything ready in the house, and we're still kind of settling. And then I left school, so then I had to like bring all my school stuff back. So we got like a pile of middle school aged and younger books with like a little lamp and a little like unicorn light up thing that I decorated with. And I am okay not teaching. I'm okay. I'm okay with it. I'm vibing. I'm typing. I'm writing. I'm studying Spanish. I'm okay. And we've got a lot planned for December, and we have a lot December's already started, obviously. So I've got a lot planned. So I'm not too concerned. I'll start looking for stuff in January. I don't know if I want to teach in the region anymore. In general, a lot of the schools, most all of the schools. I don't want to use all because I'm sure there's some outliers I don't know about. But most of the schools are run like a business, and I'm having a hard time adjusting to that because the schools that I worked in America were run as schools, and the whole point was educating the students. And I feel as though the schools here that I've interacted with and interviewed with and worked for are more focused on like the making money aspect. So they'll do anything to make money, even if it's not beneficial for the students, or the staff. So I'm okay. I'm gonna look for some online something. We're gonna just see how it goes. The world is topsy-turvy right now, so it's okay to be a free floater in a topsy-turvy world. You don't want to be too rooted in something in case you get, yanked somewhere else. So we are okay. I think that's everything that's pretty much happened up until Scotland. So time for dun, da, da, da. Our trip to Scotland. So we went to Scotland on a late Sunday night, basically Monday morning. So we got in Monday morning at 8 a.m. because they're I think 3 or 4 hours behind Dubai time. And I'm silhouetted, sorry. And it was freezing cold. We had a layover in Amsterdam, which we've never done before, and then went straight from Amsterdam to Glasgow. Got there cold and wet, obviously. But we actually had amazing weather the whole week we were there. We like to joke with our Scottish friends that we actually bring the weather. We bring the good weather because even when we lived there, it was mostly cold and rainy. But if we wanted to do something, like we wanted to go hiking or we wanted to camp or we wanted to go see castles, our weather, it always worked out for us. It would drizzle here and there. I think I can think of 4 times when we were hiking where it would rain and then it would stop. Or it would get really windy and then it would stop. And we always had, you can see the pictures from, when we were there long ago. Most of the time, we're in rain gear, but we're not soaking wet or anything because the weather worked out. And same holds true for this week. The weather, this past week, 2 weeks ago, the weather worked out. So we went for our friend Callum and Megan's wedding. They got married on Friday. We got there Monday. So we spent Tuesday, Robert did some work online. Bummer for him, because that means that I got to walk around in Glasgow. And so my friend David and I, we walked around. You can remember him way back when we lived in Scotland. He was in a play with me. We were in Midsummer together. He was my dad, and he was also a girl. One of the characters that's a boy that plays a girl, to be funny. You have to see the play to get it. It was funny. So we went, after the play, last 5 years ago, whenever it was, we would go on long walks, and so that's what we did. We just went on long walks, and we went to different cafes, and I drank a lot of tea, I drank a lot of hot chocolate, I ate a lot of food. It was lovely. So we got 2 full days of quality time. I do need to give a shout out to him. He is currently living up in the islands, the northwest, northwest, and he traveled all the way across the country of Scotland to stay with his sister, who was on the East Coast, to then take the train to come see me. So shout out to him. David, if you're watching, thank you. You're my hero. So I got to see him for 2 days, which was great. And then Wednesday night, so it was Tuesday, Wednesday, and we went and we ate dinner at our favorite places, and we got lunch with Callum and Megan. that Monday we first got there, I did some shopping, just perusing around. Apparently Dachshunds are really big right now, which is great because I love them. So every store had something Dachshund, and they had these really cute Dachshund sticky notes. But Dachshunds are short and fat, like short and skinny, like short, long. So like, what can you write on a sticky note that's like short and long? I don't know. I didn't get them. It didn't make sense. My sticky notes are squares. Anyway, or like the long ones. So got to shop around. Wednesday night, we picked up Robert's musical friends and my just friends, Pep and Theo. Pep is the Australian who plays the mandolin. Theo is the Scottish tall person who's with Pep, who plays the bass and the guitar and sings lovely. Pep is in like a real band. Not that they're not a real band. They are a real band. But Pep is in a band before this called OPEP. Check them out on Spotify. Check them all out on Spotify. And we scooped them up with David, and we drove to Perth and dropped David off at the train station, which was hard. And then we drove, sad. And then we drove up to Dunkeld, where Robert and I's heart is. We told ourselves if we ever decided to renew our vows or something, it would be in the Dunkeld Cathedral because A, it's beautiful, and two, Dunkeld, we have so many fond memories. All of Robert's music people, most of them are up there. So we went to Dunkeld, we got to see Donnie. The next morning, Robert played at the Tay Bank, which is what he used to do with Pep and Theo and the whole crew. I slept. I went to bed, and it was funny because the next morning when we walked with Donnie and his dog Winston, who's this sweet lurcher, and he looks just like Adobe in the face. Ooh. We went on a long walk, and Donnie was like, "Did you go to the Tay Bank? Did you go listen?" And I was like, "No, I know the songs. I know what it sounds like. I didn't need to go." Plus, we only had one room key, and it was like a key, so I just stayed asleep. But the next morning, we got to go on a walk with Donnie, and we got to go walk around Dunkeld, and we got the world's best shortbread, which was pretty good. And then I ate something that was pretty good too. I got a cheese and onion sandwich, which was weird. It was like French onion soup on a sandwich, but cold, caramelized. I don't know. It was okay. It was all right. It was too sweet to be cold. It felt like it needed to be warm. Either way, we ate our sandwiches in the car, and then we drove all around. We went and saw this country park that was on the way back to Glasgow called Mugdock or something. Robert would know. And it was pretty. It had a castle ruin, and then it had a lot of people went when I guess the economy collapsed, or they lost all their family money. They would have these huge estates, and then when they couldn't afford them anymore, the taxes, they would just take the roof off. So it's still there, but without a roof. So we got to look at, ooh, there's a fly. So we went and looked at that. We just walked around, and it was really nice to get to walk. I think we both maxed out on our steps. Sorry, there's a fly. We both maxed out on our steps on our watches within the first 3 hours of each day because we were walking so much. And it definitely reminds us that we miss the ability to just go on a walk. We have it more here in Dubai because they have some sidewalks, which is really good. But to walk in a park and to see trees and grass and brooks, babbling brooks and hills and dogs everywhere. My grandmother said, "Oh, are you going to do look a dog?" I said, "I would just have to keep my camera on all the time. There are dogs everywhere. And wiener dogs everywhere. Every time I would be mid-sentence and I would just as a dog walked by because they're so cute." I digress. We were really enjoying the ability to just stroll and walk around. So that was our Thursday. Thursday night was Thanksgiving night, and we got dinner with Jeffson, and he was like, "Oh, do you want to get this new place?" And I'm like, "No, we want Pisano pizza." So we went. Anybody who hears us talk about Scotland knows our two favorite restaurants are Pisano Pizza and Ramendeo, which is like a ramen place, but we get the same thing every time at both restaurants. We do not deviate. We know our stuff. So we went to Pisano, and we walked around, and we got to see, he has an art installation at the school at Glasgow Uni. And so it was really pretty. So he took me and he showed, because I think he'd already told Robert about it or something, but he walked me through the reasoning and the shapes and why it's positioned where it was. And it's really cool. If you ever go look at it. And then we went back, and he just renovated this apartment next to his, and he was moving walls around and stuff. So it was really cool. We got to see that. And then we got a dessert that disappointed us because University Cafe used to make this really good chocolate cake with white chocolate in the middle, a strip of it in between the layers, layer, chocolate, layer. But it had a thin little bit of white chocolate, and they would microwave it, and so it would melt a little. But they stopped doing the white chocolate part, so then it was just chocolate cake, which is good, but not what we wanted. The vanilla ice cream was good with it, but it's not what you wanted. So that was Thursday. Friday, it's a wedding day. So we wake up. The wedding is an all-day affair. All day. So Robert has to get there at noon. I walked in my like long, pretty dress. You'll see a picture. The pictures don't do it justice. I looked really good. The pictures do not show me looking really good, but I did look good. I worked really hard on my face and hair. I couldn't find a curling iron or anything. Robert had to walk all the way to like the big grocery store, like a mile away to get me a curling iron because I looked in every beauty salon store, everything. No curling irons. And I forgot that they have the same plug, so now I have like 5 curling irons here, and then this new one from the UK. Doesn't matter. What matters is I walked over there. Robert's already there. Sweet Callum was in his little kilt, and his identical twin brother was also in the same outfit. But Callum had like a pin and like a sash thing, his like tartan draped over him, so I knew who he was. And bless you. And Robert has a cold. And so the wedding was beautiful, downright stunning. She looked like a freaking queen, like a princess. So beautiful. And then after the wedding service, and it was really cool because the person who officiated had interviewed both of them, and then had had talked with both of them separately and together. So she had a lot of things of like, oh, you know, Callum and Megan this, Callum and Megan that, and then she'd say, you know, in Megan's words, and she would like say what Megan had said to her like in private, and it was really cool, and you could tell that Megan and Callum didn't know, or at least didn't know exactly what she was going to say, because she would say, oh, you know, Megan said she loves Callum because, and Callum's face would like light up, or like Callum, you know, believes Megan is this kind of person for him, and she would like start to like tear up. Oh, it was so cute. And then, and then after the like ceremony, we went to like a cocktail hour. It was in Cottier's, the wedding was, which is where I had my play with David. And then like at the very top, it's called like the attic. So it's an old church that they converted to be like a venue. It's really cool. Like they still have the stained glass, and they still have like the steeple. I mean, the whole building's the same. They just like gutted the inside of like the church proper. It still even has like balcony and the organ, but they gutted like the downstairs part to add like a kitchen and a whatever. And then they had like a restaurant off to the side, which used to be like the Staff Parish. No, what's that called? Oh, my mom's gonna be so mad. What is that called? What, Robert? What's it called where the preacher lives? What's it called where the preacher lives? Like the house next door to the church. Is it the parish? No, it's not the parish. I don't know what it is. I'll have to think about it. Either way, they converted that to like a restaurant proper. The parsonage! Good. Wow, well done. Parsonage. But then all the way upstairs in like the attic of the old church, they had like a bar, which is where all like most of Callum and Megan's friends, like what's it, like 50-50 are like music people. And even like her PhD supervisor plays like the fiddle or the mandolin or something. And so like everyone went up there and brought their instruments, and Robert was on instrument check, so he had to like bring them to all their people. And he looked so handsome. And they all had like a big jam session for like 2.5 hours. And I bought a bunch of snacks. They had these like potatoes, like little baby potato, like spuds, right? And then they had this like garnish that was like a cheese and something. It was green. And so there was like half potato that was like already squishy. Like when you held it, it was warm, and then when you chewed it, it was like squished. So I guess they must have boiled it. And then it had the stuff. So good. So I sat there and I talked to Callum's twin, girlfriend, Callum's twin's girlfriend, and then Michael's girlfriend, so the guitar player for the Fountainers' girlfriend. And we just sat there and vibed for like 2 hours. And then after the cocktail hour was the dinner, and it was so sweet. Since I don't drink, they had everybody had champagne already poured for the toasts, because they do their toasts like at the dinner. And they already had me sparkling apple juice in my toast cups, like a toast too, and feel like a grown up. I felt really special when I was telling Robert how special I felt, and he said, "Oh well, they had a alcoholic or non-alcoholic option on the invitation." I said, "Oh." But I'm going to pretend that it was just for me because I'm special. So I have a little cup. And then they sat us we were across from Michael and Amy, and then Callum's twin's girlfriend. And then we got to sit with the cousins from Taiwan. And he was like, "I'm cousin 1, I'm cousin 3. And we were like, "Oh, okay." So we were talking, and then Megan's dad gave a really nice speech, and then Callum gave a speech that was so sweet. And at one point he was like, "I can't keep reading or I'll get choked up." And I'm like, "No, please keep reading. I have to know." So he like skipped to the bottom. I'm like, "What are you gonna say?" It was so sweet. They've been dating since they were 15. And then Callum's twin brother stood up and gave a speech, and it was really sweet too. And they both gave us a shout out for coming from Dubai, so you're welcome. Anyway, it was funny. They were like, oh, and then these are our friends from Dubai. They're not from Dubai, but, you know, they live there. We were like, hi, we're American. Hello. But it was a very international wedding. They had Dubai. They had us Americans who lived in Dubai. Then they had Swedes, and they had Taiwanese, and they had Australians, and a bunch of English people. I mean, they were just spread out. And then I had like a mini cocktail hour because it was all in like the main church. They had to keep like changing the seating and stuff, which was really cool. So then we had another little cocktail hour like in a different part of the bar, of the like venue. And it was little. I mean, they just were like handing out waters and stuff while they just quickly moved the tables around. Because then it was time for the Ceilidh, which is like a Scottish country dance party. And they like call out the things, and it's a fiddle and a guitar and like a drummer maybe. And that was so much fun. Like, I want to have a Ceilidh in the world. Like, I would like for my family to have a Ceilidh, just to have one. It was so much fun. Robert and I danced every single one. And then if Robert was like, got another partner, I would grab it. We would just, it was so much fun. I got to dance with Pep. I got to dance with Callum. I got to dance with Callum's twin. Like, it was a blast. So much fun. So the Ceilidh was like 2.5 hours. Spectacular. Then after the Ceilidh came a DJ. And so then we had a DJ for like the last 2 hours. Sorry about that. Robert came out of the room. So, as you know, I don't do my vlogs where he can hear me because of his first initial comment all those years ago of how vlogs are dumb. So he doesn't get to do it. So, as I was saying, what was I saying? Oh, and then we had a dance party at the wedding. Whoop, 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 with the DJ. So that was a blast. It ended at like 12:30. I think we were home by 1:15. Then we conked out. We woke up the next morning, got in our rental car and drove from Glasgow, say goodbye, and we drove to Edinburgh on Saturday to see Robert's cousin Dorothy and her husband Andrew, who just moved there for Andrew to go to school for music. He plays the bagpipes. And we got to see Emma, and then Michael, one of the Robert's music people, came. Michael and Amy, his girlfriend, they came and met us as well, and we did the Christmas market, which was packed. I got like so many pancakes, I felt sick. We got to see Emma and her boyfriend and one of their friends, and we walked around, and we got food. We ate at the Beehive Inn, obviously, and I got my steak pie, obviously. In Dunkeld, I got my sticky toffee pudding, obviously, so I was living the high life. And then we came back because our flight was really early in the morning from Glasgow, so we came back and spent the night at the hotel next to the airport. And then we got a cab to the airport. And then we got to the airport, and they were like, oh, no, we changed your flight. And we were like, oh, for what? Because this is like 6 a.m. We'd already returned the car and everything. And they were like, oh, for 1 p.m. It's a direct. Like, well, direct is lovely, but 1 p.m., it is 6 a.m. Like, what are we supposed to do? You can't even check in until 11. We were like, so we went back to the hotel because we still had the key card. And we technically didn't have to be out until 11 anyway, so we just went back to the hotel. I went back to bed, woke back up at like 10:45, went back to the airport, and then checked back in for our flight. And it was like this big plane, huge plane. And they were like, oh, it's full, you know, worry about your bags, whatever. So we got on, and we were looking around, and then the whole back of the plane was like kind of open. And so we pulled a Papa Joe, and we just like got up and moved before the plane took off and pretended that this was our seats. But the people next to us got in like a huge fight with people next to them because we were like in the 3-person, then 4-person, then 3-person kind of plane. So we were in the 3-person over here. And then people in the middle got in a fight with the other 3-person group on that side. And it was like the flight attendants were having to come, like the flight crew was coming and being like, you need to calm down, sir. Because there was a Scottish guy who was like freaking out about, like, the guy was looking at his wife or had, like, taken his wife's drink or something, and they had, like, the middle 4 had downed, like, a good amount of bottles, like, several bottles of wine each kind of thing, to, like, where the point where the flight attendants were like, oh, no, we don't have any more alcohol, and I'm like, you ran out of alcohol? For this plane, it's a double-decker. But it was a wild time. So they were excused. They were, like, the flight attendants kept being like, stop. And Robert was like all into the drama, and I just had my headphones in, you know, playing solitaire on the back of my chair, like, nah, 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 nah. And Robert's like, are you listening? And I'm like, sorry, what? No. And I did a lot of writing, and I finally landed back here in Dubai. Robert has like the biggest work week ever this week and next week, like this coming week, because COP is happening in Dubai. Mackenzie's like a big COP thing. COP stands for something about climate. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Robert's got a big week. I myself, this is like hedging away from Scotland because Scotland is over. It was lovely. It was cold. I can't live there again. It's too cold. It got too dark too fast. But we're back, obviously, in Dubai now. Our home still decorated for Halloween because it's the best holiday. That's a witch's hat. And I got sick. I did not have COVID. I didn't have the flu. It was just a common ick. And of course, I gave it to Robert. So now Robert has the common ick. So I had to take a hiatus between these little vlogs to go make him some tea. And I made a soup with like every possible vegetable. Not really. It has potatoes, onions, carrots, cauliflower, celery, garlic, several cloves of garlic, salt, pepper, cheese. And so I made some of that soup when I was sick to like force myself to get better. Just pounding vegetables. And then so I heated some up for Robert. And I was like, it doesn't taste good, but it's got like all the good veggies. So you have to eat it. And then I've been giving him like honey, and I'm trying to do all these natural remedies because the people were just like, oh, take an Afrin, or take a Zyrtec, take a Claritin, eat this lozenge, drink this syrup. And those just like mask the symptoms. You know, like a throat lozenge just masks the pain in your throat. It doesn't fix the pain in your throat. And so I've been trying to get into more natural remedies for the problem as a solution, as opposed to just like a patch. Like I don't want a Band-Aid, I want a stitch, you know? Or I don't want to like cover a bullet hole, I want to like clean it out and fix it so that it heals. Either way. And that's why if you look on my Elfster, for those of you who have Elfster, I have like all these like home remedies, like gardens and how herbs help you. The Green Witch, which is like all about, you know, growing your own foods and being able to use foods to help you feel better in your life. And that's why my mother-in-law asked me if I was a witch, to which I had to say, of course, but no. Those are just herbs to help us feel better. So like I made Robert drink a tablespoon of honey earlier because he was coughing. I'm like, well, here you go. The internet says. Once I have my books, I'll know for sure, but the internet says drink honey for a sore throat, or gargle salt water, or whatever. So I gargled salt water the first day my throat hurt, and it felt instantly better. And I made him eat like a whole orange for vitamin D, and I'm like, we are. Because he tried his way. His way to get rid of it was like, I'm just gonna run. I'm gonna exercise through it. It'll make me feel better. I'm like, that can work maybe sometimes. But then when he started feeling worse, I said, you're going to Ellie B's method, which is bed. You sit in the bed. You clean everything. Like I have disinfected everything: towels, sheets, clothing, the surfaces, the floor, the doorknobs, myself. I said, we're disinfecting everything. You're staying in the bed. You're gonna wake up when you want to, not at like 8 in the morning. You're going to wake up late. You're going to stay in the bed. You're going to drink a tea. You're going to drink this like fizzy thing that like has a bunch of multivitamins, right? Then you're going to take a shower, and you're going to sit in the steaming shower for like 30 minutes. Who cares about our water bill? Steam. And then after that, you're going to get back in the bed, or you're going to sit on the couch, but you're going to wrap up in a blanket. And you're going to smoke it out. Then, he had his own breakfast, which is, he should have had something I prepared, but it doesn't matter. So then you're going to have a lunch, and it's going to be rich in foods. Then you're going to go take another nap. And then you're gonna drink another cup of tea, and then you're gonna take another nap. So I've been I've been drinking only peppermint tea because that's the only tea I like. But like I gave him chamomile, vanilla, and honey this morning, and he just had lemon ginger, and he's had chamomile and mint because mint opens your sinuses. And we've been taking the medicines the doctor's given. So I've sequestered him to the room, and I said, you need to do X, Y, Z, and then you gotta take another nap. I'm gonna go to the grocery store. Get some more veggies because I'm going to cook tonight, and then he's got like big work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of this week. So I won't see him until like the evenings, like late evenings. And then Wednesday night at midnight, I go to the airport because I come to America. So I'm very excited. I get to come home. I get to go home on the 7th. So I will be arriving in the US of A on the 7th. Very excited to do so. And I get to see everybody for like a week and a half, and then we do our big European Christmas vacation with Grace, Hannah, and Jordan. So that's where our plans are. We'll be back in Dubai on the 1st, 2nd. I don't remember. Excuse me. I don't remember. But we come back the beginning of January. And then it's, then you'll have to find out how our trip was then. So I guess what I'm saying is I'll see you guys next year. And then you'll get to hear about our trips from the last year, from 2023, that I still haven't done. Oops. But that's everything. So I'll see most of you, some of you, in the US of A. And if I don't, text me. Merry Christmas!